are live. Welcome to
Again,
another edition,
Jesse.
I know, of Adobe Live Education Edition. We are excited to have you here. My name is Jesse Lubinsky. I'm with the education community team at Adobe, and I am joined by my partner in creativity, my good friend, senior Acrobat evangelist,
What?
Joe Santiago.
What's up, Jesse? I'm so happy.
I am thrilled to be here with you today. And Joe, I've been with you on many sessions, meeting people, talking. And what is the first thing that people say when we ask them, what comes to mind when you think of Adobe?
I honestly, Jesse, we've been in enough rooms with, all sorts of people, and they'll say Adobe Acrobat or they'll say a PDF.
PDFs, right? So we are here today to show some major PDA for PDFs. We're going to show love to our favorite document type. We can't wait. We're going to get into it. And Joe, some people seen you on this show before, but your role is a little bit different. Tell us about your change over to that Adobe Acrobat role.
Yeah, so now listen, in the education world, I was an evangelist. I worked with tons of teachers across the country. It was amazing. Now I am working on the Acrobat side. So I'm a senior Acrobat evangelist, and I get to share all the cool things that we can do in Acrobat. And today we're going to put it on, a different lens than I've been doing lately and bring it back to our roots and really just work with educators and show like ways that you can use Acrobat to level up. So I'm super excited.
And so if you're familiar with our work, you know that uh, both Joe and I have taught in K-12. We're both adjunct professors at the university level. So we're really excited to kind of take you through this progression of how you can use PDFs in all levels. And Joe, we talked about the fact that PDF is like the most recognizable thing about the Adobe brand.
Mhm.
But what's the biggest complaint sometimes people have about PDF files?
Well, I don't think it's a complaint. I think just people don't know how to edit and like do the basic
Exactly.
functionality, right?
They're like, I
And
have this file, but I can't edit it.
yeah,
Well,
they're like,
we're here. We're kicking it off big. We're starting big because we're letting you know that everyone can edit PDF files.
that's right.
So, where are we going to start today, Joe?
So actually, we're going to show you a couple of different ways to do things. What you're looking at right here is Adobe Express, and for the educators out there that are used to the Adobe Express for Education, the interface is a little different, but you're going to have all this functionality as well. So we're not going to show you anything here on the Express side that you don't have access to, but this is the traditional version of Express that you would get, if you just signed up on your own. So
But the good news is, if you have, I mean, and everyone does have access to Adobe Express. So, whether you're coming in through Adobe Express or Adobe Express for Education, you'll be able to get started with PDFs here. And by the way, let us know who's here right now. Throw in the chat. Let us know who's watching. We're
yeah,
excited.
let's
We see
do
there's a
that.
bunch of people here with us. And Joe, why don't we kick it off? So,
Mhm.
how do we get started with editing PDFs in Adobe Express, which is free for everyone?
Yeah, so there are a couple different ways. So when we're in Express, you're gonna have the ability to upload files. So automatically you can upload PDFs and all sorts of other files. You can upload Photoshop and Illustrator. But today we want to work in PDFs specifically. So I'm going to show you. You can do it from here and click upload. But there's also a different way. And Jesse, you and I working in the education space, we're always highlighting quick actions, or here it's labeled quick edits. These are things that get you working very quickly. And you're going to notice the first one is edit PDF. If you don't see that, just toggle through the menu here and you're going to find that. So I'm going to click here, edit PDF, and it's going to prompt me to upload a file. So I do have some files loaded here. Let's do this one, this geology lecture. So automatically it's going to convert this file. So right now it's looking at the file, it's converting it, and it's going to put it in a format that we're able to work on it right from within Adobe Express, which is awesome because, we're here. We're here for
And one
that.
of the things I love is, right, we have this all-in-one editor in Adobe Express. So you're bringing the PDF in, but this
Mhm.
is the editor that if you've used Adobe Express, we're in the same screen we all know and love, right?
Yep. Yep. So right now I loaded up that PDF and I can actually just toggle through it so you can take a look. And let's go to that second page just to kind of see, but because it has more text, I can actually click in here. I can edit the text, and you notice that I'm able to change fonts and all sorts of different things. So these are kind of the things that Jesse and I have been showing for a long, long time, which is awesome. But Jesse, what else can we do? Like, what are your fan
I was
favorites?
about to tell you, there is a thing that I particularly love about editing PDFs in Adobe Express, and it's that no matter what classroom you teach in, chances are you have students with multiple language needs in your classroom, or if they're not in your classroom, potentially at home.
Right.
So, I know we've taken a look at how we do some of those translation features with graphics, but I guess the question is that then applicable to bringing those PDFs into Express and editing it there?
Yeah, so we can actually do a lot of things, and I can add pictures and all sorts of things, but we can also translate what you mentioned.
Love
I
it.
can just click on this button right here, and instantly it's
Do
gonna
it.
give me, yeah, let's do it. It has popular languages, but it has like tons of languages. I mean, you could just scroll through this for a while. So I'm just gonna change this to Spanish, and I'm gonna click right here where it says translate. And now essentially we're taking a PDF in Express and we're translating it. And it happens rather quickly. So, this text here, there's a lot of it, right? So you see automatically we have the first 3 pages, but now if I go to those the other pages, so I'm going to start with page 4. This is in Spanish, right? So I'm able to toggle through this. You can see that it translated all of this. And again, this is a pretty robust PDF.
And even though we didn't model it here, you had that it was a multi-select those number of languages. So you
Oh
could have
yeah.
picked like 5 or 6 languages and just in one click made that translation to all of those different languages, right? So
Yeah.
just for time's sake, we didn't do it, but
Yeah.
it'll just show up in this file. You'll see the series of documents repeated, all translated into the languages you need.
Yeah, so and then from there we could do a couple other things, right? So we do have the share button here and we're able to share it with others. So maybe I want to work on this with someone, I could share this. So now I had a PDF that I couldn't edit before, Jesse. Now it's in Express, ready to go, and I could work with my faculty and staff, or if I want to share it with students, I could do that as well. And we have a couple of other options, which I like, which is a view only link, which essentially turns this into a web page and allows you to view it online, which I really like.
One thing to keep in mind too is, Joe translated all the text, but because this is an Express file and it's in that Express editor, we can add other content to it. We can add images to it. We can make all of the modifications and tweaks. It's not just about editing text. It's really about redesigning that entire
Mhm.
document. And so once we've done that redesign, not only could we share it out the way Joe's mentioning now, and by the way, I'll mention that Joe and I love that technique of sharing out PDFs because we call it one source of truth. So think about how many times you've downloaded a PDF and then sent it out to people, and then there's been a change and you have to edit it and send out another PDF. Well, if you're sending out the link to the one document, you can make those changes and just republish. And so
Yeah.
everyone has that one source of truth, can always click on that one version of that PDF file in Express, and you can continue to make changes and publish. So that's a really good technique also. But Joe, there's some other stuff you could do with this file too, right? It's not just, you could get into other formats besides PDFs.
Yeah, you can do all that. And one thing I just wanted to mention, Jesse, is you said sharing it in that single source of truth. Think of every time maybe you get an email and it has some attachments and someone hits reply rather than forward. Maybe they wanted to send it to someone and now that file is lost. So now with the link, you're not losing it. So to me, that's very powerful. And you could do that in both Express and in Acrobat, where you could take a PDF and essentially just create a quick link and share that out.
And Joe, I feel like the easiest example that I'm sure everyone could relate to. So I didn't mention this, but Joe and I are coming to you from the frozen tundra of New York. It is
It
I
is
think it was
chilly.
officially named the coldest place on earth. So we are here.
Is that what they call it?
I just made that up. But let's just pretend it feels like it is.
It is cold.
So lots of events getting canceled around here. Lots of invitations going out through PDFs. If I had that one source of truth, if I reschedule, no matter
Mhm.
which version of the email someone gets, they can click on it and still find their way to the right version. But how would I get those other types of versions if I wanted something besides a PDF?
Yeah, so you can actually convert from PDF right within Express. Again, I'll show you workflow in Acrobat too, but we're starting with Express here to kind of show you the journey. I can click convert from PDF and I can upload, I'm just gonna hit cancel here. You can upload all sorts of files. So you can do, convert a PDF to Microsoft Word, Excel. That's crazy, by the way, because if you have like a PDF with tons and tons of
Uh-huh.
data, who wants to type that over? So from there, I can change it into any of these formats. And a big one, especially when I was in, working in a school system and now as a professor, sometimes people will send you a presentation in a PDF format, but
Right.
maybe you want to use it. So now I can actually drag this in here and export it directly to PowerPoint, which to me is that's awesome.
And you bring up something really important too. Remember, when you brought that PDF in just now, it didn't just isolate the text. Each of those different images and objects we're editable and clickable. So the same thing would happen if it's um, bringing it in and converting it to a presentation or vice versa. Same
Right.
thing, right? It's getting down to the level where you can actually
Oh yeah.
control individual
I
objects.
mean, look at this. I can move these
Yeah.
pictures around. I could change them out, right? I could swap them. So that's really great.
So I mean, I didn't make this promise, but I told people when I told people tune in today, we're gonna change your life. We're gonna blow minds.
That's the goal
We're
today.
only 5 minutes, we're like 10 minutes in, and we have just shown in Adobe Express, everyone has the ability to edit PDFs,
Hmm.
to make changes to them, to convert them out, to do the workflow we talked about one source of truth. But like I said, man, we're 10 minutes in. We got 45 minutes left, and we got a
Feeling
lot of
good.
minds to still blow. So
I'm
we've gone
ready.
over some basic features of Adobe of like working with PDFs, but the truth is we got to kick it into high gear now. We got to show where the
Yes,
real
I
magic
agree.
happens. And even though we could do some basic functionality in Adobe Express, Joe, where do we got to go to see the real magic?
All right, so I'm going to take you to Adobe Acrobat Home, and what you're looking at right now is Adobe Acrobat Studio. It's a product we launched in August, and essentially it's a combination of Acrobat, so the features that you would be able to edit and convert documents and interact with documents. It has AI features where now we're able to really like interact with our documents in a different way and have a chat, and then it also includes Adobe Express. So Acrobat Studio Home, this is what you're looking at right now. You're going to see a couple things here. Up top, you see PDF Spaces, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, which is it's amazing. It's really a workspace where you're able to have all your files and interact. But
So
then we also
excited for
have
that, and we are clearly building up to that. That is our
that
that's
is
like our big momentum thing. But
I feel like there's even bigger than that once we're in there because
true,
it's
true,
awesome.
true.
And you're going to see a couple things here, which I'm just going to glance over because I want to show you that like real time. But we have the ability to edit images, to edit our PDF. So I can put that in there. I can add comments. And that's really great, Jesse, because now we're able to highlight information within a PDF and share that out.
Right.
You can combine files. So a lot of times, maybe we'll have like 5 or 10 files that we want to share out, but maybe we just want to make that into one and make things easier for everybody. We can do that there. Really great. Tell me.
I
I
want to
see.
point out,
I love it.
I'm realizing now you're in your web browser. Like you never left. I mean,
Yeah.
traditionally, when I think of Adobe Acrobat, I think of like the application I need to download onto my like laptop. I can't do it on a Chromebook, things like that. But you're in Acrobat Web right now.
Yeah, so we have both of those things, right? You do have that desktop application that has robust features, but now a lot of those features are on the web. And if you notice here, like you're going to see some icons, for example, redacting a PDF, that's going to be on the desktop. That's a
Right.
little more robust and you want that. And redacting a PDF, by the way, especially for this group of people watching, you can erase all data behind a section. So it's not like back in the day when we used to take a Sharpie, but then like you look, we've all been there.
So
Highlight,
we used to be you would add the black box over it, but then if
right.
you like even if you were like clicking it up and down, the box would kind of disappear and reappear, and you could kind of piece together some of what's there. It
Right,
actually
right.
like
It
really,
removes, it like
yeah.
zeroes out all the data behind it. So it's not just putting a black box because as we know, maybe I add a black box, but maybe I have a tool like this where now I can see the layers and actually take out that black box and I see what's behind it. This actually will remove the data behind that. So if you're dealing with sensitive information like any kind of student information or your information for that fact that you want to really protect, you would use that. Super
So
great. And protecting, Jesse, protect a PDF. I can password protect so that someone needs to type in a password to access. That's awesome too.
well, these are like the kind of like the traditional features
Mhm.
of Acrobat that we've grown to know and love.
Yeah.
What else can we do besides those traditional editing features?
Yeah, so I'm going to show you, we have the ability to convert, which we showed you that you're able to do in Express, but here it's a little more robust. Specifically, this one recognized text with OCR. And Jesse, I know Jesse
He
talks
knows
about this
by,
well,
like,
so
yeah.
I'm
So,
going to back up.
well, I'm sure people, if they don't know this, they've experienced it, but not all PDFs are created equal, right? Sometimes, even with Adobe Express right now, you might bring in a PDF and you're like, wait a minute, Jesse and Joe said you could edit all PDFs, but I brought this thing in here and I can't edit it. And the reason why, again, not all these things are created the same. So, how do you know? One little sniff test we like to do is you could try to highlight text. If you can't highlight text, what that tells you is think about the difference between saving as a PDF or printing as a PDF.
Hmm.
When you traditionally save as a PDF, it's saving all the metadata in there in text so that you can actually highlight and it's still essentially a workable PDF file.
Yeah.
But when you print as a PDF, it's acting like a photocopier. It's basically taking an image screenshot of that document and giving you a bunch of images. And images aren't text just by nature, but sometimes we want to get all that stuff out of there, right? And
Yep.
that's where I love and yeah, I mean, Joe's letting me talk because I went on this tirade before about how much I love the
He,
OCR
he loves OCR.
functionality
I'm with you.
because
I love it
I've run
too.
into this a million times where I've gotten like a photocopy document or something where I can't get access to that text, and this allows you to actually go into those images and grab that text using OCR. It's one of my favorite features of Acrobat.
Yeah, and fun fact for those of you out there, if you want to go into your app store, you can download Adobe Scan and it'll scan those up and bring it right into Acrobat and you can get to work. So Adobe Scan is a really great tool. Check that out. So we've gone over a little bit of convert, but we also have kind of the ability to convert to create. And this is where, Express and Acrobat are working together. Now you're going to see the ability to generate a presentation. That's a little sneak peek of what's coming in a minute. You can design pages or generate images, but then you also have your fun favorites here, right? Create a PDF and combine files. And then if I scroll down, you're going to see templates. So everything's working together. And it's really awesome
Joe,
able to create
you're
and
you're
consume.
blowing my mind right now because basically I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait a minute. Acrobat is a creation tool,
It
right? I
sure
think I've
is.
always thought about Acrobat as an editing tool.
Right. Well,
And
listen,
now, like, we're making
this,
PDFs cool again, right? Like they always
this,
were. Just we're making sure everyone knows how cool they are,
well, I
because
feel like I feel like PDFs traditionally, or it was more of a transactional kind of file. You open it, you
right.
print it, and you're done, right? So now with the new features that we're offering, now you can really interact. You can actually work from here because it not only has your files, but it has ways you can create. But everything's kind of put into one place. So this is a great launch pad for all that.
And I love how kind of Acrobat is this launching point, right? It's completely integrated with Express, where you can do all of your content creation and editing right here with your PDFs. Amazing.
Yep, super good. So, with that, all that said, we showed a lot of things here, but let's get into like what this can do, right? So I actually have a PDF open, and already have a little summary, but let me show you what that looks like. So when you with the AI features, which Acrobat Studio has, I can just click this little summarize button, and it will instantly give me a summary of this document. So I did this just for the sake of time before, but honestly, it took like 5 seconds. It looked through all these readings and it created a nice summary for you. And what you're going to notice here are these little numbers. You see this, Jesse, the two,
Yeah,
three, the four.
like
So
the citations.
if I click on it, this is exactly Jesse's listening.
Oh,
If I click on this,
my
these are
guy.
citations. So it actually pulls up exactly where in that document that lives. So especially if in education, you have to know what, if you're saying something, you have to be able to cite it, right? So easily I'm able to click on that. It shows me exactly where it is. And if I highlight it, now I can highlight it here, right? I can highlight the selected text. I can add a comment, and I can do so many other things. And check this out. If I right click, I could even say draw freehand. I could circle this. Maybe I want, oh, that's poor drawing, but you get the point, Jesse.
We're
We're
not
able
we're not
to,
grading you on that. That's not part of the rubric.
nice to
I will
say.
say though, think about this document. This document is really only like a bunch of pages, but
Mhm.
a lot of times, when I'm working with documentation, whether it's and this, I'm a doctoral candidate right now, and when I'm working with studies or some of these larger files, I mean, these things are hundreds of pages.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about getting a generative summary of something like that instantly, that's where the citations become really key, right? Because I'm not looking through 4 pages. I'm trying to figure out through 300 pages where that information is.
And that, I mean, that's a lot.
But a lot of times, right, I get that summary and I want to go deeper. I have a bunch more questions. I'm specifically looking for something.
Yep.
So can I do something with that?
I can do that. But before I do that, I just want to show you because I clicked on this picture. It actually allows me to edit an image right in Express. So, it's
Oh,
integrated
that is so
right in
cool.
there. I can add different things and all those fun things like remove little pieces or generate image you can do in here as well, which is great. But now back to what you were saying, Jesse. Yes, we can interact more. And that's really what the AI assistant, think of it as our chat, right? That we're able to like talk with our files
Right.
because, it's hard to do that. So let's say you did have a 300-page document. I can say create an outline of this document, and you could get as robust as you want. We're doing low level here just to kind of get things going. But I didn't spell document right. It would get it, but
I
I'm
mean,
gonna say create an outline.
I know that we geared this session to educators and faculty. So for the faculty watching, I will tell you that one area where I found this particularly useful is I mentioned in my doctoral work, I'm looking at studies. I'm actually looking for specific things. So I'm not even looking for
Mhm.
general outlines. It's more, you know, is there evidence that, or is it stated anywhere that, and I'm basically giving ideas and concepts and having it find those very specific things in large documents. And it is incredibly helpful, especially the citation piece, because I need that as the reference, right? I'm referencing this stuff in the document. So it really so useful.
Yeah, so you see, it created a nice outline for me that I'm able to interact with. Again, complete with citations. And here's the best part, okay? Listen, like Jesse and I right now, it's going to be it's 5:20 in the afternoon. Okay, the day sometimes we're a little tired. Guess what? Acrobat has you covered.
Sometimes.
Okay, here it has additional prompts, right? So it's reading your information and it's giving you prompts that you can continue on. So listen, sometimes you need a sentence starter to get going. I know I do, but once I'm going, things are rolling, right? So this kind of gets you going there, which is great.
And actually, Joe, there was something that you and I saw before that I think we didn't get a chance to show just now. What happens if you want to edit that graphic in Express?
This one right
Like,
here.
yeah, so let's edit that image really quickly.
Yeah. So it's going to pull it up here.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, it won't do it from here. But when you're adding images in, it actually recognizes the context of
Oh,
the
yes.
image and it will recommend like geology images or things like that. So it's
Yep.
not just the AI piece of the PDF, but it's entirely the ecosystem that is
Mhm.
basically tuned in to what you're trying to do and then leveraging that to make it as easy as possible for you to make changes.
But it's great,
This is
right?
cool
You're
though
you're in
too.
this document
Yeah.
and now you're able to make quick changes. Maybe you
Yeah.
want to add a
Amazing.
picture. And then, we have this little tools section here. You're going to see some little sneak peeks, which I'll share in a minute. But, if you
Oh,
want
this
to
is
edit,
exciting stuff,
these are
people.
like the fan favorites here. And if I go to edit, you're going to have like some more parts, but even you can convert from here as well. So if I want to turn that into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, I can do that, or bring it back into Express, I can do it there. Now, before we move on, I just want to share one quick thing. We also have this little button here that says read aloud. And you're going to see some sneak peeks below, which I'm going to share with you in a minute. But essentially, I can have Acrobat read this file for me. So again, maybe I'm on the ride home, right? I want to open this up on my phone and listen. I can do that. Maybe I'm on the treadmill or on walking the dog. I can do that as well. So really easy to do that. And then I can also share, as Jesse mentioned, I can click a link and I have a shareable link that I can share with others. So really great there. So Jesse, tell
We
me.
are now, yeah, we're ready for the big for the really exciting part that we're excited to show you. So we've gone through taking a look at basic editing in Express. We've now taken a look at kind of Acrobat Studio and some of the things you could do there. We want to jump into PDF spaces, but we want to actually, because we've geared this session toward educators and faculty, we want to make sure that we're kind of uh, doing it using the same use cases that Joe and I would use when we're teaching our courses. So we are going to be taking on the role of a geology professor at Warnock University. And by the way, when you see all the documents are branded Warnock University, there's a little Easter egg in there. If you think you know what it is, throw it in the chat. We'd love to see if anyone catches it.
Yep.
But Joe, how do you want to get started?
So I just want to share, maybe I have this file open. This is a geology file, and I want to click add to PDF space. I can add to one of those spaces, and you don't even know what a PDF space is yet. I'm going to explain it in a second. But I just want you to know as we move through that you can go from a file that you have open into a space. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Keep that nugget
I
there as we
I'm
keep
gonna
going.
guess the PDF space is a space with PDFs.
Yes, and
Yes, and that's what I wanted to hear, man. Okay, I
that's
want to hear
it.
what the
So
end is.
So yes, and it is a space with your PDFs, but it's also a space where you can put presentations and documents and web links. And I'm just going to pop back into our main page here just to show you to create a PDF space. You can click here, you can click where it says select files, or you could even click on create a PDF space. So I'm just gonna explain what a PDF space is, before I get in. Essentially, it's a workspace where you can interact with your files in a way that you're going to get deep insights from that information. It's not going outside of your information to get answers. So only what you put in is what you're getting out. And one thing that's very important, especially in education, we are not training on your information. So the files that you put in there are yours. They're not like our model isn't learning from that. It's not going outside. But what it is doing is it's reading your files and it's giving you like deep, deep insights. And we're going to see that right now. But to when you're going to create a space, you're able to select from your recent files. You can do from your device, and you're going to see again here, as I mentioned, you can do PDFs, you can do docs files, presentation files, text files,
I,
Excel
we
files.
cannot understate how crazy it is that we can bring the Excel files in and start to then do some of the things we just saw Joe doing with that PDF file, but like querying against it. So it's going to be, yeah, this is great stuff.
I've even had this read blueprints, Jesse. I put in a file with blueprints and it was a landscape blueprint. It pulled out it was like a huge document. It pulled out how many trees, and it was so interesting what it can do. So imagine with your data, you have a spreadsheet that you don't want to type over. That's first, right? And now you want to extract data, you can put that in there. And these VTT files, these are transcript files. So maybe at a meeting, maybe you're conferring with some students over video chat. Now you can load those in there to get better answers. So let's go back into my space. All right. So as soon as you load your files into a PDF space, you're going to be greeted with a summary. Okay. So this summary here, it automatically will load up based on an assistant. So right now I actually have a geology professor loaded up that I created, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But right off the bat, like when you load it in your space, you're going to get the traditional AI assistant, which is similar to the one that we used when we opened that PDF. So you're going to get
What I
answers.
noticed when you changed it, it
Did you
changed
notice that?
yeah. So like the summary, as soon as he changed it, it changed
Yeah.
the summary.
So it changes because it's looking at the information through a different lens. So automatically, you're going to get the AI assistant, which is our standard. You're going to get an analyst, so that's more of a critical thinker. You're going to get an entertainer. So if you want to be a little more like Jesse, you would choose that one. And then you're going to get an instructor, which we are as well. So I use the instructor quite a bit for tutorials. In this case, I wanted something a little more bespoke, right? Because we are geology professors today, Jesse.
And I would think of this, the easiest way to think of this is think of this as giving your AI a persona, right?
Yes.
So you know how a lot of us, if you've been using chatbots, a lot of times you have to offer up the training for it. And this is basically an easy way of having that persona set that you could just apply, especially if it's a persona you think you're going to be using quite a bit. So
And
if you're
let's take a
teaching a
look at what I made.
course, right?
Let's take a look at this one, right? Because I created one. And then I'll show you how to create your own. But I'm just going to click on this little eye here. And, let me click customize so we can walk through this. So essentially, I typed in geology professor as the name, and then I gave it a prompt. I said, you're our university professor teaching geology on the undergraduate level. And that's it. And then what I did was I clicked this little button, which I'm going to share in a minute, generate instructions, and it made all of these instructions for me, right? So it's telling itself, hey, provide clear, concise, and engaging explanations. It's telling it include examples, analogies, or real world applications. And it goes on and on. And best of all, Jesse, I can come in here and edit this and add my own instructions. But a lot of times, like that part of writing the instructions is hard. So we've actually got you covered on that. And the way we do this, let me click off of this one, is we just select here and we select create your own. And then from there, you can choose title. And then you can choose a description and you click generate instructions, and all that whole list will come up. From there, you click save and apply. Just what I really like is that you could select more than one. So I can have like 5 or 6 or 10 in there, and I could toggle between them. And you saw the summary changed when I changed this to the AI assistant chat. Now I want to go to the geology professor, and the summary instantly changes. So the lens in which it's looking at that data is different because you've chosen to select a new chat agent,
I love it.
chat assistant.
So now we have our content. We've uploaded into our space. We are a geology professor.
Yes.
First thing I might want, we'll start big, start at the beginning of the semester. What would a syllabus look like?
Right. So for the sake of time, Jesse, I already prompted this. It's actually
You
super
read my
quick.
mind.
It's super quick, like doing
Yeah.
it. I said create an expanded syllabus with detailed weekly learning objectives and key readings for my course, which lasts one semester, meeting twice a week for 1 hour. Now, you can just start with create a syllabus, for my course. And it's gonna prompt you. It's gonna tell you, hey, do you want more? And then you keep digging in. But for this, we did something a little more detailed because this is exactly what we wanted. And it gave me a pretty great syllabus. I mean, it even tells me to insert my name, so I can give it that information and get it started for me. But it gave me course objectives.
And look, we
Mhm.
yeah, we know that we're always going to have to customize to a certain degree, right?
Of
But
course.
what we're trying to do is make this stuff, um, you know, quicker and more refined as we kind of iterate.
Yeah. So it gave me a weekly schedule. It gave me readings to go with each of those, which is amazing. And I have this as a good starting point. Now from here, I can interact with this further. I can really, I can chat with this for quite a long time. But we only have another half an hour.
But
So
go scroll down. There's
yeah,
something at the bottom we definitely want to point out. So if you go up, is it here with the where it had the grading policy and things like that? Is that in this one?
that I have a little later. So
Okay, okay.
yeah. So right now, if I wanted this information here, and I could say that, help me create a grading policy for this, right? And it'll continue. But maybe I do like this syllabus. I can click here and save this as a note. All right. So it
Oh,
created a note for
nice.
me, and this note is completely editable. I can come in here, I can delete, I can change anything. And Jesse, I do have that other one that I created earlier. I actually refreshed, but in this one, I had to create a grading policy. So if I scroll down in this note, you're going to see grading scale. You're going to see assessments.
And Joe
Um,
knows where I was going with this. So,
yeah,
like, if I had added as one of my files, like a lot of times, and I've developed many uh syllabi for courses at the university level, and I feel like there's always this 30 pages at the end, which are all the official policies of
yeah,
the school and the grading policy and things like that. If you've added those files to your files within the PDF space, it'll pull from that as well. And in
yeah,
fact, one thing you might not have noticed is when Joe was showing where you can insert the files, there was a space for web links. So
yeah.
even
So
if you want to link uh, to the school's policies,
mhm.
because those could always change, you can do that, and it'll keep the most updated version. Again, we love that one source of truth idea. Point to the source. Even if the source changes, it will
Mhm.
use that in the information that it's
Yes.
absorbing from.
So I just paste a web link in there and click
Yep.
add, and it'll capture
Beautiful.
that. And while we're on the topic of files, right now, I have it sorted by list because I'm just a list person.
We've
But
talked about this, the grid person versus the list person, right?
yeah, and in this case, this is actually the color. It's color coded, so it's pretty, so it's easy to see. But for me, most of the time, I'm in list mode, so you can toggle that too. It depends on what you like. And another thing I should mention, as you add new files, the space updates itself, right? So I'm just going to scroll up here. The summary will change based on the files that you provide. So if I have new information, it's going to update that as well. And keep that lens on as we keep going. And I show you some of the other features because those update too.
So it will change the summary, but it won't change the responses. I still have to
Right.
query against it to get new responses. But whether I change the persona, right, that AI assistant, or I add additional files, it'll always keep a fresh summary up at the top.
Yeah, the summary is always going to change. But maybe you've done a lot of work on this and you don't want that to change just yet because essentially, you might have to start over, right? If you're adding a lot of information. So
Right, right.
yeah, so it's to me it's best that it doesn't change all of it. It's just going to change the summary and then you could always ask it for a new prompt based on the new information.
Now, can you go back to your note for a second? Because there was
Mhm.
something interesting I just wanted to point out. So in the note, when you were you might have been in edit mode
Mhm.
or like editing the note. Yeah, up at the top. Oh, yeah, it's up at the
Oh yeah,
top.
it's on the top. Yeah.
So I'm
Mhm.
looking at the note, and look, there's your little face icon there. So the fact that I see that leads me to
Mhm.
believe
You believe
that this
correct.
is like a this could be collaborative or
Mhm.
shareable.
Yeah. So the same way we did in Express, we're able to share. I can add people's emails here. So I can do Jesse, hold on, Adobe.com. There's my buddy right there.
There I am.
And then we have a couple of options. So right now, Jesse's set as a reviewer, which means Jesse can comment on on my information. Jesse can comment on my files, which is awesome. Like if he sees a PDF, he wants to add like a little comment, or maybe he wants me to read, I can do that. I can add him as a contributor. So now he can add files and add notes. One thing that Jesse can't do, the owner of the space is the one who controls the chat assistant. So right now, my geology professor is what's in there. If I share with you, that's what you're going to get until I change it because it's mine.
Right.
Okay.
But
But
the space is so, and actually what you're doing right now is you're adding me to the space, not to the
correct.
file. And that's the
To
important
the
thing to
whole
keep in mind.
space.
Right. So it's just good for people to know once you're adding people, even though I saw Joe on this note and then my face will appear or my
Mhm.
icon, what you're being added right now, this space is a collaborative space.
Yep. And I mean, this one's cool. So the view only, I can share this out and people don't even need an Acrobat account to use it. So essentially, if I do view only, they'll have access to interact with my chat assistant. Okay. And then they'll have opportunity to read my notes. Maybe I want to share a group of files with my students so that they're able to learn and study or study guide. They can take this really in their own hands, and
So
it's
hold the phone, my
awesome.
guy. You're telling me that only one person has to have an account in order to be able to create the space, but that other people without accounts still can access and leverage the space itself.
Right. For the view only, yes. So they'll be able to interact with that. So you could
Love
do
it.
like a frequently asked questions. Essentially, you could put like all the things that people would ask you on a daily basis in a space, and then they can ask it themselves, which I like. Or,
Amazing. Love that.
to level up learning, maybe they want to create, a study guide for themselves. They can do that right in there as well. It's really good.
This is the point where I would be like, this will be important later.
So I am going to click just cancel over here, but essentially, just want to know that you can have someone who's more of an editor, which is a contributor, a reviewer who can just add comments, and then view only is, you can share with anyone, no account. All right.
Amazing.
So I am going to, what's our time? Five.
So
Okay.
we did our note. We did our, we did some querying against it, built a syllabus. What else can we do with this? So like now we want to start getting into like actual work of the course, right? Like
Yeah.
we did our intro course, we have our syllabus, we're all set up, but now I gotta start digging deep into like week
Yep.
one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we could do that. I can say, help me create a presentation for week one, which I've prompted. But before that, Jesse, because I'm a little rusty
We've
on
never
this
done this
course.
before, I swear.
I'm a little rusty in this course.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know, maybe I taught it a couple years ago and we've had that, right? I've had like courses that I haven't taught in a couple years. You need to like reacquaint yourself with the information. So Adobe has you covered. We've launched last week, we launched this podcast feature. Uh,
Oh,
and now I'm able to click podcasts, and it gives me two versions right now. Okay. So it gives me highlights and it gives me a deep dive of information. Let's click on the highlights, but maybe I'm on my way home. Again, it's been a long day and I want to listen to this on my phone. I can do that. I can listen on the treadmill, wherever I may be. I can like start understanding my information. So I'm going to press play here. Right now, you're
let's
going to hear
yeah,
two
let's
voices.
hear a little bit from Liam and Chloe.
All right. Let's hear Liam and Chloe. Here we go.
Welcome. Today we're diving deep, really deep, into Earth's earliest history. We're talking billions of years ago, long before humans, even before complex life. It's a story geologists pieced together with some clever detective work.
Yeah, it's fascinating how scientists reconstruct Earth's past. They don't just guess. They use the scientific method, forming hypotheses, gathering evidence, testing, and revising.
It's incredible.
Joe, I'm not gonna lie, this might be better than my podcast.
We're going
It
to
is.
replace you with
Well,
Chloe and Liam.
and before you ask, you cannot currently change the voices, but it is in like there will be more voices coming.
There's some things in the works. Oh,
Yeah,
like Jesse's thumbs up.
thumbs up. Oh, that worked. Um,
Oh my
that's how
goodness.
excited I am.
Yeah, I love
So that's right. Yeah. So be ready for that. You will be able to customize that. But again, so wait, we saw the highlights. Can you
it.
just take us to, I want to see what's the
Yeah,
difference
yeah.
in like content between the highlights and the deep dive.
Yep. So let's jump to Chloe right here. Let's fast forward a little bit. Let's pull this up and then we'll take a listen at that. Um, Of course I did that. Let's go back here. All right, let's just listen.
Welcome to this episode where we dive deep into the geologic history of our planet. Today, we're unpacking Earth's story, from its fiery beginnings to the complex interplay of life and geology that shapes the world we know.
It's a vast story, isn't it? Spanning over 4.6 billion years.
It's a long time.
To help us grasp that immensity,
Very long time.
I like to think of Earth's history as a single calendar year. If we compress all of time into 1 year,
So this one's like, the stop and smell the roses version. We're gonna dig deeper.
Question in the chat: when will your voice be available as one of the voices?
My voice?
Yeah, we want to hear Joe in giving us this history lesson.
If anyone from Adobe is listening, I am available for the AI voice.
Have your people call Joe's people.
Yes, have our people call our people, right?
That's right.
So one thing I want to note is that you can actually change the playback speed. So I know there are people that watch things on like 2 times.
Yeah.
So if you feel like it's a little slow, you can speed that up. Especially us New Yorkers, we're quick, So
gotta move. Not now.
Let's go.
Cold out
Not
to
now,
move,
but
but
we can.
normally.
Right. So we have this information, and what I like also is that it gives you a transcript, right? So you can read it as you go. So it meets you, maybe you want to listen and read at the same time. But yeah, pretty robust information. One thing to note, the same with the files, as we add new files in there, or the same with the summaries, how that changed, this will update as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool.
So it updates based on the newest information, and it's going to change its lens based on that.
So you could always just pop back into podcast, and you don't even have to do a refresh. It'll automatically update
it's just
based on the content that's there.
Mhm.
Wow, that's great.
Yep. So, okay.
So
now, Jesse,
jumping back to the prompt. So you showed us that content. That's incredible, by the way. We started talking about getting ready for like that first week, that first set of classes. I know that you and I have talked about this before. You and I were very meticulous about taking a lot of time to like make our slides, do all our work. And it's a very time intensive process, right? Especially when you have all the content like we do here, but it's like culling from that. So how does this simplify that process?
So I prompted it to create me a presentation for week 1. Okay, now I can get really detailed in this prompt, but again, we're starting simple just to kind of show you what we can do. Here it gave me an outline for potentially what could be a presentation, right? So is this set in stone? No, but this is a starting point. This is saving me time. And that's what it's all about, right? Saving a couple hours so that you can refine and you can do all the things that you really want to do, which is dial it in, make it look pretty, and then, keep going. So I'm going to scroll down here. I asked it to create that, and it's going to notice that I'm asking it to create a presentation. So it's saying, hey, guess what? I have more. I have more to give, Jesse. And it immediately says, generate a presentation using your files.
So wait, it's talking about now taking it from text and making a presentation from it?
Oh yeah. Yes. And that's where like Express
let's do it.
and Acrobat are really working nicely together. You're also going to see a link here on the side, presentations. You can click there. And once I'm going to get past this part, and then I'm going to show you another entry point just so you can understand what you can do in a different way. So I'm going to click here, generate a professional presentation using your files.
This is definitely reinforcing though that idea that we were talking about before of like Acrobat as a creation tool, not as just like to read your PDFs or even edit your text, right? We're talking about a full studio for creating content.
Yeah.
Wow.
So from here, I can select one of the designs. Now, mind you, when you're in Express, there are thousands of designs. I don't know what the number is. It's a lot of designs, right? Right now, we have a couple selected for you. I can click on this. I can click continue. I can also edit my prompt. I can go back. And once I click continue, it's going to give me an outline. Let's pause there for one moment. I'm going to go back to Acrobat Home here. And I'm going to show you, if I click generate a presentation right from the home page, it's going to give me a little bit different experience. So that first way, we came from a PDF space where our files were loaded, but I can also add my files directly in here, right? So let's load up some files.
Oh, so if I had this stuff, I don't need to make a space to create a presentation. I can do that by just dragging it into on the Studio homepage.
Yeah, so maybe you just want to create a presentation. You can do that as well. So there it's analyzing the files, and I can prompt it. I can click customize, and this is cool. I can go I can say I want it short, medium, or long.
Wow.
I can say I want an audience. Now, look at this audience. It pulled up geology students, earth scientists, paleontology enthusiasts, and everything. It pulled it just from those files. So this list of the audience, it adapts based on what you're giving it.
So this is now going back to what we were talking about before with Express, that context experience based on content is consistent throughout your entire
Oh yeah.
experience, whether you're working on the graphics in Express, whether you're
Mhm.
here in the Acrobat Studio, it's always taking that context and applying it to whatever you're creating.
Yeah, it's great. And then you can make a
Love it.
custom audience. Like if you don't see what you have here, you can click custom audience. My case, it would be geology students, right? And then I
Yeah.
could select the level of detail. So I could say I want a concise, medium, or very detailed. And then I would click continue. It even gives me some prompts here based on those files that I can use, right? So it's reading your files and it's saying, hey, maybe you want to use one of these prompts. So once I do that, it's going to take me to that page which I was on that had the icons, right? So of the designs. So the page right before
So
this.
okay.
You want to go back? Do you want to see it?
Nope. I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can if you.
No, no.
You know what? Do it for the people. Give them
Yeah.
what they want.
So
There you
it
go.
was me right here. Then I click continue. So we're showing a couple entry points.
So now we're at our review, our outline. In this case, we came in from our space, but it's
Yes.
the same thing would have happened if it would have synthesized that content from the
Right.
start with the
So
presentation.
the
Right.
difference is once it's coming from a space, it's more informed, right? Because you've been interacting with it in a way. So
Right.
whereas this, you're going to prompt it and it's gonna give you that information. So you just need to prompt it differently. So automatically we have slide one. I can make edits to this. If you look here, these bullet points are merely an outline. It's not the content you're going to see. It's you informing what you want to see on there.
Oh,
Now,
so it's not going to create like a slide with what is
with those
historical
bullets,
geography.
no.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
take that information to inform it. And then
And then
again, I can
create it.
edit this, right? So
Oh, I
I can
love that.
change this. I can move this around. Maybe I want to do, the scientific framework first, or, I can easily just drag and drop.
So this
And
is basically saying like, what is the gist of the slide?
Mhm,
Now go make it with the actual content.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So from here, I can select generate. All right. And now it's going to work through its phases. For movie magic, I created one of these already just to make sure that we're good with time. And you're going to get a page that looks like this. Okay. So this was just a generic one that I made on those files, but this one should be done in a bit. But again, it's reading all your data and it's creating a presentation, right? So the presentation is going to look like this. Now, from here, we have all the functionality that we have in Express. If you notice up here, it says Adobe Express on the top. Do we have chat, Jesse? Do we have good stuff going on in there?
I'm looking. No.
Okay.
No,
So-
no one's figured out the Easter egg yet either.
Nobody, huh?
No, shocking. Shocking.
So I'm able to edit all of this. And this is a really big strength of ours, that it's not giving you a presentation in like image form. It's giving you a presentation that now you can edit. You can change any of the text. You can change the sizes. I can change pictures. But take a look at this, Jesse. Look at the pictures it's pulling up, right? So we have this one, right? It's telling me, like, it's talking about the earth and it's showing me, but it also has different formats. So we're not getting the same format on each slide. You also have icons that are specific to this information.
And Joe, this might be a good place to show what we were talking about before. If you go to media
Yep.
and go to media and you're going to add an image.
Yep.
Notice under photos, it knows we want to do geology content and has other categories in alignment with what's already there. So, and again, talking about that seamless interplay, right? And integration,
Right.
we're in Express. Like we're in Acrobat, but it's working seamlessly with Express to create all of that content.
Yeah. Super
Awesome.
cool. Yeah, so we have the ability to do really all the things in Express. Transitions. We could even turn this into a video if we want. Like really great things here.
And professors, for the sake of your students, do not overwhelm. Even though we are a creative tool, don't overwhelm with images, and please don't read off your slides. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for understanding.
Thank you for this public service announcement that we provided.
Yeah, I mean, it pulls up this great information here, that we can use, and again, like easily
actually,
just kind of change things up.
there is a distinguishing thing with this tool, because a lot of times when I've used some of these other AIs to create presentations, it'll give me slides, but I can't always go in and edit those slides. It's
Right.
like giving me images, right? Here, it's giving me a fully editable experience right in the editor using the same, ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, we have all the features, right? Bring to front, send to back, all those things. We have this rewrite tool, which some professors may object to, but I can click on it and, I can make it sound more academic. I can lengthen it. I can click generate, and then it's going to give me a couple of iterations. So perhaps I want this one. I click replace, and it instantly changes. And again, like the whole section changed, right? It didn't just cram it into that little section.
Yeah.
It changed the flow really easily. And then Jesse, we also have brands, right? So in business, you're going to see a lot of brands, but maybe your school has like a brand that they use. You can come in here and you can upload a brand, and you can add it, or we have themes as well. So maybe you want to just change the color scheme. You can click that, change it up. Which Jesse and I have shown this a million times.
Yeah, that's why I was smiling. I'm like, wow. So this really, we came full circle from Express to Express from beginning to end. But if you haven't used those brands before, those brands will allow you to like set a bunch of colors as well as a couple of other graphics if you need them, and then apply them. Joe, while you were here, by the way, and because I noticed you're an edit page, our favorite button is here. We showed you before about editing PDFs, remember? But we're back to where we have translate. So let's say we get this presentation and we need to translate that. We could do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we could translate the presentation if we need to.
Yeah. So, and we're able to do that, but then we also need to show Jesse once we're done, like we could download this. Look at this. This is crazy. So cool. That's like a level up.
All right. So Joe, just to recap, because I know we have like 3 minutes left. We've covered
so fast.
Relax. So we're okay. We're doing great. We started off showing how every single person can actually edit PDFs in Adobe Express, edit, translate. You can export as into different formats, and also share as a publicly visible web page. We then dove deeper into Acrobat Studio. This is our first foray on Adobe Live Education Edition into Acrobat Studio. We took a look at a bunch of different features. We took a look at how you can create in addition to the normal Acrobat features, create a PDF space, which then would allow us to create a persona. In this case, we created a university professor persona. We generated
chat assistant,
we AI assistant. That's correct. We created a syllabus. We created a podcast. We off that content, generated outlines for presentations, and then had it automatically turn that content into visual presentations that we can edit back in Adobe Express as part of the Acrobat Studio experience. Joe, what other magic can you share in 2 minutes?
I mean, listen, so after we've created something, we need to share this, right? So from here, you can always download. You can, download in a couple different ways. You could even download this as a PDF, or, if you wanted to take it into another platform, you could. But for me, like I can present this full screen right from here, right? So Express has really great presentation features. We can do that. You presenter mode, present from first page. But then Jesse, we didn't even talk that we could share this, and you and I can work together on the slide to make it extra awesome. So to me, that is a win.
Love it.
Love it.
So,
Jesse, we didn't show
what
is recreate slide. And
this is cool.
And I think we can do it in 1 minute. Check out this button, recreate slide. Maybe I didn't like anything that was happening here. I can go basic, edit, generate slide, changes it up. 1, 2, 3. Easy peasy. Let's see. Let me delete a section and click generate.
Okay.
Yep.
See what we got.
Go. In 1 minute. Go time.
They put you on the back of the line. They were like, you're going to wait.
God. All right, Jesse. So while this does this, we have a minute. Final words from you, Jesse.
Actually, it did it, and I love it. Final words from me. This is great. Joe, it was amazing having you back. It was like a homecoming, having you back here with the education team. This is just the starting point. You're going to be seeing a ton of awesome PDF Acrobat content here. You can see all the ways that this integrates with Express and all of our other tools. We are so excited to go on this journey with you. And please, if you have questions, reach out. You can hit Joe up at that Acrobat guy, at that Acrobat guy. I'm at Jay Lubinsky. And thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Adobe Live Education Edition. We can't wait to see you next time.
So nice to be back with Jesse.